This week on Ticket Stubs, remember when James Cameron made good films like Aliens, The Abyss and True Lies? Remember practical effects? Remember classical movie scores? Or when James Cameron didn't waste all of our time on those stupid fucking Avatar movies? Do you know that he has 4 sequels planned for that boring shit? No one cares, James Cameron. No one gives a shit about those blue smurfs that dock their ponytails into that weird dragon dick or whatever the fuck that was. We don't care. Anyway, we're talking about the film that defined his career and one of the best sci-fi actions of all time. That's right. This week we're talking about 1984's The Terminator. Hello, Ciarin. Hello, Ryan.
Fuck. You got me with that docking thing. Fuck me.
Yeah, I was not ready for that.
Can I just say, Avatar is basically Pocahontas, but with blue people.
Yeah. We've all been saying that from the word go. It's garbage. Like, this is what I'm saying. You've got The Terminator, and you want to end your lineage on these shitty films no one gives a dusty fuck about. I can't watch 3D. I've got to wear glasses just to walk down the street, let alone a second pair of glasses on top of them. Ciarin, you've got the same problem. I don't want any of it.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't care. He's in New Zealand. He doesn't have a care in the world.
Dane, I thought you were actually excited for this episode. Why do you seem so cranky?
Oh, I'm typically quite cranky.
It's alright, Dane. I know how to fix it.
Put a smile on your dainty bunny. You feel better in no time. Oh, yeah.
I love your auto-tune. How are you, Ciarin, anyway? You're having a good old time?
I'm having a great time. I just moved into my new house. Gonna set up our Christmas tree because Christmas is coming real soon. How are you guys? How does it feel to be fucking old as shit, Dane?
Well, it feels much the same because I was already old as shit to begin with.
Dane turned 32 this week, the old fuck.
Everything's been hurting for years as it is. So, Ryan, how are you?
Well, I'm great. I'm very excited to be recording this episode with my best friend and an acquaintance.
Now we have to figure out who that is.
What a horrible, horrible boy you are, Ryan.
No, very excited to be doing it though.
Enough silly business. This week we're talking about The Terminator.
Oh fuck, my notes are all for Avatar.
Yeah, I love Sam Worthington.
You pals are a couple of dumb donkeys, if that's what the case is. I've been so excited. This is in my top 5 movies of all time. It's the only movie I've been excited about to discuss. I mean, we've discussed some stinkers in the last few episodes, and some that are passable. But this, oh my god, hands down the absolute best. I am fizzing at the bum with excitement.
Well, you better put on your nappy, Dane.
Oh, I'm going to take off my nappy by the end of it because I'm a bad boy. Yeah, well, I suppose, first of all, Ryan, what's your relationship with Terminator?
This is actually only the second time I've seen the original Terminator movie.
Whoa.
Yep. I've seen probably Terminator 2 at least 10 times.
Yeah.
And Terminator 3 probably the same, if not more. Not exactly sure why that is. When I was a kid, I loved the third one for some reason.
Was it because of the naked lady?
Could have been. Yeah, definitely could have been.
I just really love this movie, Mum and Dad. Please play it.
Let's watch Terminator 3 again.
Why do you always have it paused on the naked lady? No reason. I'm taking in the mise-en-scène.
Yeah, I remember watching Terminator 1 ages ago, and I liked it. I don't know, it just always got overshadowed by Terminator 2, which is the king. So, yeah, I very much enjoyed revisiting this. It is a fantastic movie.
Lovely. Ciarin, what about you?
I love the Terminator movies, especially 2, but having a good old Terminator marathon is one of my favourite things to do on a rainy day, after Lord of the Rings, obviously. Can we all just talk about the fucking dragon-sized elephant in the room that is that Terminator with Emilia Clarke in it?
I haven't watched the last 2 Terminators, deliberately so, but I think I'm just going to go on a bit of a marathon and just binge them all out. I love the first 2. 3, it's fine. I don't mind Salvations. But from there on, what a steaming pile of dog shit.
Yeah, God. I don't know if you guys remember, it was Salvation and the one after that. They gave away the twists in the movie in the trailers.
Yeah.
And everyone was like...
Yeah. Is that the one with Jason Clarke?
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, why the hell would you do that? I don't need to see this terrible movie anyway. So...
Well, that was a really big thing that movie trailers were doing for a long time, which is why, I don't know if you guys know this, I don't actually watch movie trailers at all. Like...
Yeah, it's a good idea these days.
It's not my jam. I habitually avoid trailers because of that trend that happened like 5 years ago where every single movie trailer had everything that happens in the entire movie in it.
Yeah. It's probably a good thing to avoid.
And also when Suicide Squad tricked us everybody into thinking it was going to be a good movie.
Yeah.
The 2016?
Yeah,
they pulled the blanket over our eyes on that one.
Yeah, the one where they changed editors halfway through because they were like, wow, this is a great trailer. You guys should edit the whole movie.
But Dana, sorry, I was just going to say, what's your experience with Terminator?
I saw Terminator 1 when I was a very young boy, and there's a scene we'll talk about later on, but it involves the Terminator kind of performing surgery on himself, and it terrified me. It gave me nightmares as like an 8-year-old kid, and it was years later that I was like, wow, this movie's badass. Like when I was a teen boy, and loved it ever since. Like I said, it's in my top 5 movies of all time. I know I said it's a sci-fi action. I also slot it into the horror category, but obviously I kind of put them side by side. Terminator 1 and Alien 1, horrors. Terminator 2 and Aliens, they're actions.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'd go with that.
But speaking of, the other Terminators, wow, the franchise has gone to shit. I just remembered that Sam Worthington, the white bread of actors, is in bloody Salvations. And
Avatar.
Yeah, Avatar. So, yeah.
Well, at least James Cameron likes it. Somebody's got to.
He does.
Yeah.
If I may start things off, and I hadn't realised this, so Stan Winston, he was the lead special effects on Terminator. He designed the look of the exoskeleton and everything. He worked on Aliens.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah, like 3 Jurassic Parks.
Yeah.
He worked on The Thing, one of my favourite films of all time.
What?
Oh my God.
I didn't realise.
And I'm like, oh man, this guy had such a legacy. And then again, look what happened to his precious Terminator. Now it's all CGI garbage.
Yeah.
But
I miss practical effects days. They were just so cool.
yeah,
Like the original Star Wars, boy, were they good.
They're such a special art form too. Even if, I suppose, sometimes you could make CG look better, there's just that realism of, like, you can see it that they're actually in the room. Like, you feel it. Whereas a CG, you're like, well, there's nothing there. I can clearly see that.
Like the best thing Peter Jackson did was do the original Lord of the Rings trilogy with mostly practical effects. Like the Uruk-hai took like 12 hours or something to get fully into makeup, or I'm probably overshooting there, but some ridiculous. They started like early in the morning and then late in the afternoon they would be put in full makeup, and then he fucking did The Hobbit and did it all fucking CGI.
Yeah.
like imagine
What a mess.
Imagine if Mad Max Fury Road was just CGI and George Miller didn't use any of the practical effects, and it'll be dog shit. So
I love Mad Max Fury Road.
That's like the same as our favourite director we talked about last week. Like Chris Nolan, who is all for practical effects. Like imagine that hallway scene, if that was just like CGI, like body builds, and then they're just floating through the hallway and all of that shit. Like it would just look so bad.
Dog shit. Then Dane wouldn't have had anything good to say about that.
His favourite scene would have been ruined.
that's right. Well, my dear friends, shall we get into it?
Ooh, he's doing his little happy
I'm
dance.
excited.
Oh my
I'm
God.
so excited.
I can't wait to hear about Avatar. Oh my God.
Okay, alrighty. So, Terminator. 1984. We open up and it's in LA in the 2029. And all of a sudden the ship's flying through the air and you see tanks rolling over human skulls. There's laser shots flying everywhere. Clearly, things have gone very south with humanity. There's just human skulls littering the place.
It's what we're going to look like in about 5 years. I'd say.
Well, I mean, 2029's right around
Yeah, get ready, everybody. I've actually been to LA, and that's how LA looks normally.
Oh.
So
I thought you were going to say that you'd been to a mass grave site.
That too.
yes, also that.
We do live in Australia.
Yeah, but like even for the opening of this, and it is like 1984, it still looks great. It doesn't look aged or dated or anything. It's probably why I fucking love this film so much. And then what a great opening for it as well. Like, it wastes no time, which is something I can only just love this movie for more. But then we jump into present day, 1984, and we're back in LA before things have gone south for humanity. And it's nice, quiet night in the street, and there's lightning that starts flashing everywhere. You're like, oh, what's going on here? What's happened? Is someone bumped into a telegraph pole? And then this is where we see it. There's old Arnie, crouched down, all steamy, bare bottom naked as well. That's our first shot. I mean, it's not even... We don't even know who this guy is at the start. He's just this big hulking mass. He's sort of walking around the streets, stark naked.
He's a brave man.
Yeah. I want to say, too, that man in the truck was so brave getting out of his truck during a lightning storm.
Yeah. Yeah. This shit's going crazy. I'm going to get out and have a look.
Yeah, I'm going to get out of my car and have a look. Maybe I'll get electrocuted, but I love to live dangerously.
And so Terminator, the first people he encounters is this group of thugs. One of those thugs, I'm sure you both know, Bill Paxton, the only man to be killed by a Terminator, Predator, and an alien. Classic 80s thugs. They're, oh, look at this naked guy, and they're sort of mocking him because Arnold is an android, and he's kind of, learning, I guess he's kind of learning how to speak. He's repeating what they say back to them. Yeah. And they think he's escaped from an insane asylum.
A guy that muscly too, like those guys were skinny noodle boys, like as if you'd be like, "Hey."
They were skinny noodles.
And he's naked. He's naked, and he's humongous. He's got nothing to lose. Better make fun of him.
I actually wrote down the quote if you want to hear it.
Oh, I had to, Ryan, but
what
go
the
right
punk
ahead.
Say to, oh, it's so good. He's like, nice night for a walk, eh? And the Terminator's like, nice night for a walk. And the punk's like, wash day tomorrow, nothing clean, right? And he's like, nothing clean, right?
Yeah.
It's just so good. Yeah.
I must say too, Arnold is a big bloke, and he was very lucky that they were all wearing Arnold-sized clothes.
The extra large fit.
Imagine if they were like wearing clothes like my size, and then he's walking around in a little crop top. Like that would have changed the whole movie.
Well, also because do you either of you know what year it was he won Mr. Universe or whatever it was?
So he got Mr. Olympia. So Mr. Universe, he was first in 1968, 1969, 1970. 77. He won the amateur Mr. Universe in 1967, and he won Mr. Olympia from between 1970 and 1980. So
wow.
Prior to this, he was still pumping iron.
I think he was only in his early 20s when he won Mr. Universe as well. Something wild.
He was. Yeah.
I only like I said, he takes these clothes off these skinny noodle boys, and they're like 50 kilos wringing wet, and he's just this mountain of a man. Anyway. Yeah,
Arnie is 6'2", and at his
That's
heaviest.
my height, everybody.
Yeah.
Me and Arnold look the exact same. So. Pretty wild.
Yeah, pretty wild.
And so there's three of them. There's one of Arnie. They think they can take him. Arnie just fucks them up, throwing them all around the place like a wet rag. One of them stabs Arnie with a little switchblade, and he doesn't flinch. You're like, oh, fuck, this guy's not human. And he puts his whole forearm through the guy's stomach and just rips out, and he's dripping with blood. I'm like, oh, this fucking movie is sick. We are in for a good old time.
Yeah.
So good.
Just like Scream. We talked about it last week. Scream, or not last week, the week before. It's the best when it's like, hold on to your fucking hats, boys. We're going straight in. Nothing
Yes. It's literally like, buckle your seatbelt. I don't think you know what you're in for right now. And then, like, that scene, he's cold as anything, and he literally puts his arm through a dude to kill him.
Yeah.
And then
you gotta
just
imagine...
no remorse, just nothing.
Imagine watching this in the 80s, like, the types of movies that were coming out. Let's hold on. What year was this? 82? 84?
84.
So we've got Once Upon a Time in America, Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom, Footloose, A Nightmare on Elm Street came out that year, Neverending Story. So in terms of like Beverly Hills Cop, in terms of movies that were coming out, The Karate Kid came out. This was really different. Like, we did have some horror movie sequels. Ghostbusters came out, but this is on a whole completely different
Alien
level.
was 79, I think. Westworld came out in 73, but I'm going to talk about that a little bit down, like the original movie of Westworld, which is where this movie kind of gets a lot of its ideas from, but we'll talk about that later. Anyway, elsewhere, there's another fella getting teleported, and we see this other naked fella just laying on the ground, and we can already tell very quickly that this guy's human, because Arnie got up and just walked away. He's been stabbed, he does nothing, he's puts a fist through a guy's stomach, and this guy, he's fucked up for the teleportation. He's sort of gagging, he can barely stand up, he's disorientated, and we don't know who this fellow is.
I always wonder when people do, like, they go the full Monty, they go fully nude. I always wonder, because Adam Sandler, he's famously admitted to using an arse double whenever he's done nude stuff. I'm always like, who's used an arse double in this movie? Did they?
Is this a real bum or?
Yeah.
What?
I always wonder. I'm like, did you use an arse double or what did you
What
do?
movie is Adam Sandler naked in?
Don't mess with the
Oh,
Zohan.
okay. A movie I'm never going to watch.
You never go full nude for You Don't Mess with the Zohan.
Well, he was supposed to be. He's like the pinnacle of dad bods, and he was supposed to be this big, muscly Israeli army guy. Like, he had no chance.
Well, let's not taint this movie with the Zohan garbage. Anyway, I'm getting too excited. So, Kyle Reese, he's come from a pretty fucked up time. He's got, like, massive burn scars all over him, bullet wounds everywhere, this nice little scar across his chin. So, he's seen some action, it appears. And the cops show up and they see him naked in the alleyway. They try to chase him, and Kyle Reese, well, he's got some moves. And he jumps the cop and steals his gun, and he's like, what day is it? What date is it? What year is it? He's got no idea if where he's come from has worked. Before he can sort of find out, more cops show up. He manages to avoid them. He steals a change of clothes. He jumps in a cop's car, steals their shotgun and everything.
Why was that shotgun, like, so easy to get? That was fucking crazy.
Well, yeah, they left their...
It was just in the passenger seat.
Yeah, they left their cop car door wide open while they were chasing him. Rookie mistake. But so the next day, this is where we meet our lovely little heroine, Sarah Connor, and she's just a 19-year-old waitress at a restaurant. And she's late for work, and she rushes in the door, and she puts a little punch card in. And I don't know if you guys notice this, but it's the 19th of the 5th, 1984. So this is the day it all starts. There's a little date on a time card there. I was paying attention. I know what's going on.
Oh my goodness.
And the intro to Sarah Connor was the most 80s thing ever. She's riding a moped. She's got a mullet. She doesn't wear a helmet. She disobeys all the traffic laws. She doesn't give a fuck.
Does she have a Walkman on as well?
I think she does.
She has
Pinnacle.
aviators. She has aviators on, doesn't she?
Yeah, it's pretty close then.
We do get a Walkman in this movie, but not for a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's our first little introduction to Sarah Connor. She's just this 19-year-old as a waitress in America, so obviously she's really struggling to make ends meet as well. She's having a rough start to a shift. She's mucking up orders. Some little brat kid dumps ice cream in a pocket.
Oh,
Yeah.
the worst.
I
Punch
would
that
kick
kid.
that child if it was mine.
Yeah. And you know what? You should kick that child if it wasn't yours.
My mum
Yeah.
used to make me, no matter where we were, if I was doing the wrong thing, she'd find a corner and make me stand in it with my nose against the wall. That would be what I'd do. In the
Damn.
corner with you. I don't care if we're having lunch.
So that's Sarah Connor. And then now Arnold, he's sort of walking around town. He's got the clothes of the thugs that he killed. And he's in this gun shop, and he's buying up the shop. He's like, Uzi 9mm, and that's my only Arnold impression I'm going to do today. I hadn't worked on it.
Uzi.
He's buying shotguns and handguns, and the store clerk's like, oh wow, yeah, I'm going to close up early today. What a great sale. And Arnie starts loading the shotgun. He's like, hey, you can't do that. And Arnie goes, wrong, and blasting away with the shotgun. And you're like, holy fuck.
So good.
Like, yeah, this is just a remorseless, quite literally killing machine.
I love the difference of the way they get their weapons. Because Arnie goes in, gets exactly what he wants, and kills the guy to do it. And Kyle Reese is kind of scrappy, steals it from policemen, and kind of runs away. Like, I just think it's interesting.
So I'm Kyle Reese and Ryan's the Terminator. I'm scrappy. Ryan would just walk in and be like, give me.
Please
Also,
pass it over.
I'll throw in some trivia early. So Arnold only says 58 words in the whole movie.
Right.
58
14,
words.
14 lines of dialogue it is.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd ever realised that. How, obviously I know he doesn't talk a lot, but I never thought about just the small number of words he says.
Yeah, and this was like, this is the role that nobody remembers Arnie from bloody Conan the Barbarian. Everybody remembers him from Terminator, and he made his mark with 14 lines of dialogue.
It's amazing. Everyone in this movie just hits out of the park. Arnold is fantastic as this emotionless, remorseless killing machine. Doesn't need to say shit to be terrifying. Kyle Reese, who is the human that's teleported here, we'll find out he's come back from the destroyed future, and he is just a man on the fringe of a mental snap. Like, he's been through the wars, he's just all over the place in this movie, and Sarah Connor's just Sarah Connor. Linda Hamilton plays Sarah Connor, which we should say. She's just wonderful. Is this kind of, at the start, naive 19-year-old girl, and it's just, three people in this movie rides on, and it's so fucking good. Everyone does such a good job. I've got an erection talking about it.
Oh, standing up at midnight. Look out.
Kyle Reese and Arnie are incredible.
Yeah.
I don't think Sarah's does, because she doesn't obviously do a great deal in this movie.
No.
But, I know how good she is in the second one.
Yeah,
I take that into account.
The character arc between movies. I don't have an erection for Sarah Connor in this movie, but
No.
she's a badass bitch in the second one.
I can't wait for the day
Next movie I'm pointing to the moon.
I can't wait for the day we talk about Terminator 2. But anyway, so Arnold's got his shotguns, his guns and everything else, and he starts going through the phone book. And he's looking for this name, Sarah Connor. Kyle Reese is going through the phone book looking for the same name. So these two fellows looking for this same young lady.
Can I just say, it's a miracle. We saw where they came from. They came from a fucking hellscape. But they know what a payphone is, and they know how to use a phone book.
Yeah.
It's like in Australia,
the
those...
Telstra booths, they're still standing.
Yeah. That's the only thing still standing in the apocalypse, is just those stupid Telstra booths.
It's how everyone's communicating instead of walkie-talkies.
Hello?
Just gonna scrounge for coins.
1-800-reverse. Did you ever do that? You do a 1-800-reverse, but you wouldn't actually wait till they picked up. You'd just be like, they'd be like, you have a call from Mum, it's me, you need to come and get me.
Yeah, please pick me up from this location, bye.
And then they wouldn't have to accept the call. 1-800-reverse. Sarah Connor, don't go with Terminator. It's me, Kyle.
So anyway, Arnold arrives out the front of this house, the random house, and this middle-aged lady opens up the door, and Arnie goes, "Hey, are you Sarah Connor?" And she's like, "Why, yes, of course I am, young man." And
I love how you're making it sound so fucking polite.
I know. Excuse me. Sorry to interrupt your day, but are you Sarah Connor by any chance?
Excuse me, madam. I'm so sorry to intrude.
Do you have a time to speak about the Lord? Our Lord and Savior.
Do you want a book that was written by Jesus?
So, she's unwitting, of course. She goes, "Yep, I'm Sarah C." And he just pulls out this massive gun and fucking shoots a square, drops dead on the ground, and off he goes. Doesn't even give her a look back.
Turns her into Turns her into a human donut.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then we get a little sneak peek at Kyle Reese here, and he's sitting in the car, he's asleep, he's suffering from a bit of PTSD, so we see that he was like a soldier in the future war against these machines, and like I said, he's on kind of the fringe of a mental snap. Like, throughout this movie, the pressure on him to get his job done is insurmountable, and he's just barely holding it together. So we get a bit of a flash of the war, which is, we mentioned Terminator Salvation, and that's kind of what I mean, obviously the whole film in summation was giving you a glimpse of that war. And I like I said, I liked it, but I like these little flashes from past to present we kind of get, and we don't need a lot to explain what's happened in this war.
Yeah.
And it's just great.
We just know it's shit, and we need John Connor to be born.
Pretty much.
We see now that there's a couple more cops getting involved because the story's broken out that not one, but 2 Sarah Connors have been gunned down. We never see the death of the second Sarah Connor, which I also really like because we already know what Arnie's doing. We don't need to see him repeating the same action over and over again. And it's nice little bit of it. You're like, oh, fucking hell. Like, and he's closing in on our Sarah Connor.
He's on a mission, and the news team is working lightning fast to report the murder. And luckily, our Sarah Connor is around TVs constantly, so she's right up to date with it.
Aware,
She's well aware.
Sarah's been notified that we've kind of skimmed over it. When the first death happens, Sarah's work friends will be like, hey, look at this. A lady with the same name as you, she's been killed.
Well, they were like, you're dead. Look, you're dead.
Yeah.
Which would be something I would say.
Look, you just got killed.
You're so dead.
So Sarah thinks it's just a strange coincidence, doesn't really give it too much of a thought. And that night, Sarah and her housemate, they're getting ready to go out on the town. Her housemate has a Walkman on and everything, and find out Sarah's date, well, he's just gone and bloody bailed on her.
Dodgy dog.
Dodgy dog.
We have that like exchange with the phone sex thing.
Oh, so funny. With her roommate's boyfriend.
Funny. Yeah, and surely he knows that she's got a roommate, and he was so brave jumping straight into phone sex at the first hello. It was just like, ring, ring, hello, our number, your blast.
Yeah, it's the only bit of humour in the film as well, this weird little phone sex line.
It's a nice difference. Like, you think of like Marvel movies. Marvel has kind of just made every single movie devolve into like, it's a serious movie, but haha, there's this comic relief constantly.
There's always a funny bit. Yeah,
because Marvel does it. Marvel, I think you can do it in Marvel. It's based off of comic books, like, all of those, Tony Stark's a haha boy. He's a very funny man. They're all very smart-assy, and it works with the characters. But, yeah, in the past, like, I'd say, like, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, we've just seen, like, every movie. Even the Star Wars movies, which... Don't even get me started on the new Star Wars movies, boys, but they've gone from Han Solo and his smart-ass dry humor to just like, oh, I'm so funny, listen to this joke that we prepared earlier.
Yeah.
It's shit, I hate it. I love when there's just little funny bits that they're not a staple part of the movie. Let me have my scary action movie and let me enjoy it.
It's a much-needed, light-hearted reprieve from, this movie that just does not let up the whole way through.
I only need a little bit of jokes with my mass murder spree.
Just a little sprinkling of some jokes and we're good to go. Then I can get back to all the dead people. So Sarah's like, no, I'm not going to do I can't go on a double date now with my housemate. I'm just going to go out, do my own thing. And the housemate stays at home with her boyfriend. Sarah goes out in the night, and Kyle Reese has tracked down Sarah. He's gotten to her, so he's sort of following her, watching her like a bit of a creepy stalker. We don't know what his intentions are yet. We just know these 2 boys, they're after Sarah.
And he's got a trench coat on, so he's looking very conspicuous.
Looking very pervy. Like, you need a big trench coat to be pervy.
You don't want to see what I'm doing under this trench coat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, hey, wanna buy a watch? Also, I just want to throw it back to you guys. Remember Hercules was like, "Hey, want to buy a sundial?"
The cartoon one.
I just picture it perfectly.
Just like,
So, Sarah ends up at another bar. She sees that a couple of Sarah Connors have been killed. So she is shaken to the core. She's like, what the fuck's going on? She notices that Kyle Reese is starting to follow her. She's like, I've seen this guy before. And she tries slipping into another bar called Tech Noir. It's a little disco nightclub. Everyone's dancing, having a good time. And she goes in and she finds a payphone, another payphone in this nightclub, which is like, it's right in the middle of the dance floor as well.
Yeah.
So
How could you hear anything?
Yeah, it's...
There's so many, like, wonderful coincidences in this movie. Like, she just happens to duck down when the Terminator's there, and there just happens to be a phone booth in the middle of the dance floor, and no one will see her because she's in a big crowd of people.
Yeah, so... I think it's a house. She calls a housemate, and she's like, "Hey, like this is fucking terrifying. I need you to come and pick me up. Here's where I am." So the housemate and the boyfriend, they've just finished having a bit of sex. The housemate Ginger is dancing around with her Walkman on Ryan, and she's having a
Oh my
bit of
god.
a
It's the 80s.
bit of a post-coital snack, and the boyfriend is just laying there in the bed.
I just think it's funny. Like I said, there's always so many funny coincidences that just push the story along, because if Sarah didn't call home, the Terminator wouldn't have known that he hadn't killed Sarah Connor. He probably would have been like, all right, I did it, let's go. and then gone away.
Well, yeah, it's just, everything is just kind of always in the right place at the right time. It progresses the story forward. It's great. So the Terminator goes in the house, and he's actually found our Sarah Connor's residence, but she's out. So all of a sudden, he's very stealthy, and he slinks into the bedroom where the boyfriend is. He just thinks he's a regular intruder, and Arnie puts him through a fucking wall. And the housemate Ginger, she screams. Arnie pulls out a gun, guns her down. He thinks job's done. I'm good. That's exactly when Sarah has called Ginger to be like, "Hey, I'm super scared. Come pick me up." And Arnie is listening, and he somehow figures out that that's the Sarah Connor they're after. And then he kind of becomes like a super sleuth, and he finds her ID, and he's like, "All right, now I know what she looks like."
Because she just has her student ID lying around the
Yeah,
apartment.
it's very, very coincidental. So yeah, he's on his way to the club. He knows where she is, what she looks like. He's off to do some killing. Oh boy, here I go killing again.
Can I just say one thing about kind of this first act as well that I think's really impressive?
Please do, Ryan.
Is there's been no exposition yet.
Yes, and it's perfect.
Yes.
But we know exactly what's going on.
You know everything that is happening, everything, all the characters, you know everything that's happened. You just know everything about this world so far.
Yeah.
It's just perfect. It's just building up to this moment, but you know everything. And the tension's building up because now the Terminator knows where Sarah is and Kyle Reese knows where she is. So you know it's all coming in before we get to our second act.
Everything's
just amazing.
Everything's about to boil over. Everyone's about to meet. It's so good.
When the exposition
well
does get
done. So well
established, I do have something to say
Oh, okay.
about it.
Hold your tongue, all right?
No, never.
So anyway, we're back at the club. Sarah's actually gotten through to the police because she couldn't reach her housemate, and they go, "Just stay there. We're on our way." She's sort of just sat at the table by herself. Arnie rocks up. Security tries to stop him, and he just crushes the guy's fist, which is, I suppose, the other little bit of comic relief for this film. And he just walks on through, and he sees Sarah, and everything's just super intense. Kyle's in there, really incognito, and Terminator walks in, and it's all just happening, and all of these characters start to meet, and Arnie pulls out a gun and goes to shoot Sarah dead. But Kyle Reese jumps up. He knows that Arnie's now the Terminator, and he starts shooting at him. Everyone runs and scatters, and there's a great big shootout that happens in this fully packed nightclub.
Just a regular Tuesday in America.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a bit red hot.
So yeah, bullets are flying, people are dying everywhere, and this is where we get another iconic line. Arnold's down, he's been shot, and Kyle Reese runs over to Sarah, and he goes, "Come with me, you want to live." I'm like, mwah. To borrow a phrase, Ciarin, 100 chef kisses. And our two heroes, they start running on foot. Arnie, he gets right back up, and he is just legging it after him.
He's pumping it like iced tea in that
New Jack
New Jack City.
In that great film.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just so great because Sarah has no idea what's going on. She's just been witness to this shootout, seen this guy, this hulking man, try to shoot her, then get shot 100 times and get right back up. And so she doesn't know who Kyle Reese is. He's just yeeted her right out of the disco.
I mean, in that situation, I would go with anybody trying to help me. Like, Jesus.
They're running, and as I mentioned, they're trying to outrun a robot. Kyle Reese knows this, so he shoots a gas tanker, and there's this glorious practical explosion. Arnie runs just fucking right through it. And I don't know if you realise, all his hair and his eyebrows get singed off.
Yeah.
It's so hard to look at him from then on out without sort of giggling. Because they've not just like shaved off his eyebrows or anything. They've just put like a weird, they put makeup over it, and it just looks odd.
Spirit gum, I believe.
Oh, really?
Called. They put it over. Yeah, they put it over your eyebrows to make it look like you got no eyebrows. And it's I've had to be like a makeup model for one of my friends once when she was doing her makeup artistry class. It's a fucking hell of a thing to get out of your eyebrows. And it's even worse when you go through the McDonald's drive-thru after, like, with no eyebrows.
So Arnie just runs through this great big fireball, and the two steal a car, and Arnie punches right through the window, and he tries grabbing at Sarah Connor. Whole thing that's going on where she's screaming, and Kyle Reese is trying to save her, and Arnie goes tumbling off the car. And now this is where we start getting some of that terrific exposition. Michael Biehn playing Kyle Reese, like, he just fucking carries the exposition of this movie. The whole narrative is on this guy, and he nails it. And so basically, we won't go through it all because it's like a 5-minute speech, but we'll hit the main points of, we're both from this apocalyptic war. There was a nuclear war. The machines became sentient, and they designed this robot, basically, and he looks like a man. He's got skin, he sweats, he's got bad breath, and we get another classic little line, and Kyle Reese is trying to explain to her, like, this is serious, this is, we may not survive this, and he goes, it can't be bargained with, it can't be reasoned with, it doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear, and it absolutely will not stop, ever! And I'm like, take a bow, Michael Biehn, you are just so fucking good at this movie.
And that's fucking terrifying if you think about it. Like,
just the perfect line.
Yeah. He is terrified. He's even more scared than Sarah because he knows what the future's going to be like.
He knows.
If, he doesn't succeed.
Yeah, exactly. He's got the weight.
Yeah.
He's got the weight of everything on him to protect Sarah.
I must say, despite he has the weight of the whole entire existence of the human race resting on his shoulders, and he's perfectly explaining, like, putting forth all this exposition during a car chase.
Yeah.
I can't even park my car without turning the music down.
Sarah's like,
good at, and he's just like, good at car chase. This is the perfect place for exposition.
Sarah's like, Ciarin, what's going on? And you're like, hang on a sec, I'm just driving. Hang on.
Wait a sec. I need to turn the music down so I can see better.
I need to concentrate. Hang on a sec. What do you want from Mackie D's?
Kyle Reese is explaining, this guy is an android, and we have to work together. We have no choice. And he kind of tells us a little bit more about the apocalypse, and when the machines became sentient, they saw the human race as a threat, and that a man called John Connor, started this resistance after the war to fight against the machines. It's actually Sarah's unborn and yet to be conceived child, this John Connor.
And she's 19 and she gets told this. She probably doesn't even know what she's going to have for breakfast the next day or what she's going to wear the next day, let alone like, oh yeah, I need to have a baby that's going to save everyone.
I mean, as we've already stated, I'm 32. I'm in the same boat. I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. I don't know what I'm having for breakfast tomorrow. Let alone try and save the human race. Because she's so naive and she's kind of just a follower throughout, the first two-thirds of this movie. And of course, we'll get to that later. But yeah, we find out that the Terminator, he's there to try and kill Sarah so he can stop her giving birth to the future leader of the human resistance. Yeah. Kyle Reese has been sent back to make sure that doesn't happen. So At the moment, they're hiding out in a bit of a car park. Perfect time for a bit of exposition, and done so gloriously well, like we said. How are we enjoying it?
Oh yeah, so such a great movie. So good.
I'm fully
don't-
in. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't treat you like a dum-dum. That's probably the best thing. Like, we've talked about movies before where they literally spell everything out in the dialogue. And obviously they did spell it out in the dialogue, but that you still kind of knew what was going on. They just went, hey, this just explains what you've started to put together, rather than going... Like, she didn't even say her name. We saw it on a punch card. They used the show don't tell thing that we've talked about previously so effectively that you're on the ride and it doesn't matter that it's a fucking whirlwind because you just understand. It's just great storytelling. A++.
A++.
It's so good. And it's a quick ride. Like, each scene only goes for like a few minutes and then it just keeps moving.
Yeah.
The whole movie just moves so quick.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
well
great.
paced.
Yeah, like that scene in the bar is so crucial to everything, and it doesn't even last long. And then they're in the car, and you get a really good exposition, and then they're moving to the next scene and the next. It's just unreal.
Yeah.
It's so good.
They just go,
So
you
well
got
written.
it, because we're going to keep going and we're not going to stop. Like,
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And just those quiet, like how Kyle just had that, he had 2 minutes to explain everything to Sarah, everything to the audience, and then fucking bang, we're on again.
Yeah.
Arnie's found him, he's tracked him down. The cops have also located both Arnie and Kyle Reese from the shootouts, and Kyle Reese ends up crashing the car, and the cops arrest him, and Arnie somehow just slinks away. This fucking 150 kilo man, 6'2",
Yeah, which
just gone.
the
which
biggest
I think
swole
is
man
funny,
ever.
Because the car crashes. That would have been the perfect time just to be like, I'll fucking blow this bitch away.
Yeah.
Boom. But he goes, oh no, the cops better
Yeah,
run.
and he could mow all the cops
could
down
kill-
too.
Yeah, like he does later.
He could take all of them on easy, but he's like, oh no, not now. It's not the right time or place. This isn't how I imagined killing
Yeah.
me, a robot.
I don't.
Imagine
bit
I
scared
don't,
of the popo.
I don't want to go to jail. My parents will be so disappointed in me.
But like, if he got arrested, literally nothing would happen
Yeah.
to him. Like, he'd just go, I don't want to be arrested right now. Thank you very much, and he'd just fucking leave.
Yeah.
Like, he could have just hung around and shot her in the
They
face.
wouldn't even.
If I was the Terminator.
They wouldn't even be able to get the handcuffs on his wrists. He's that big of a man.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the cops arrest him. Like Kyle Reese, he wants to go out in a blaze of glory. He's jumped out of the car. He's got the shotgun there. And Sarah Connor's like, no, you idiot, you'll die. There's a dozen cops here.
Because he is but a man, old
He's
Kyle
but
Reese.
just one man.
With a butt double. Although that's just...
Not
conjecture.
confirmed.
I don't actually
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, not confirmed.
So Kyle Reese is arrested. He's taken to the police station, and again, like, he's just on the fringe of a mental breakdown in the interrogation. He's screaming at them, like, pleading, begging for them to listen to him. He's
Yeah.
like,
Please, let me go.
yeah, he's like, this is so fucking real. Like, I can't be here. We can't be here. He's gonna find us.
Yeah.
He's trying to explain to them, and they're like, yeah, sure, buddy. All right, you nutcase. And he gets so... It's fantastic.
Yeah. That would be the hardest thing. Like, you're in the worst possible situation for a time traveler
Yeah.
to be in. Like...
And he does
Yeah.
a terrific madman. Like, we know he's sane, but, he's not giving the cops any reason to doubt him. He's just unhinged.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just yelling and screaming.
Yeah. The cop's like, yeah, no worries, buddy. They've got a psychiatrist in there. But this is kind of where I find Sarah to be, the most sort of... I don't want to say dislikable, but she doesn't speak up in Kyle's defense at any point. Like, she doesn't say,
No.
yeah, this happened. She's just like quiet as a mouse. She doesn't say boo. But, I can understand why she wouldn't, and I can, get annoyed why she wouldn't as well. But after that, Arnold, he's gone back to he's apparently rented out a motel room.
I wonder where, like, how does he have money? Did he
how
steal
does he-
money?
Yeah, I don't know. It's...
Was he like, I'll pay you in the morning?
Yeah. It's odd. We don't know how he got this room, but he's gone back to do a bit of maintenance on himself because he's been blasted with shotguns, he's been hit by cars, he's ran through a fireball. So this is a scene that my very first experience with Terminator when I was a kid, and it terrified me. And he picks up a scalpel and he cuts his arm open, and we see all these glorious mechanisms. So we get the first real kind of insight that this is an android in this skin suit, and it looks fucking excellent. Like, they're all individual little moving bits and pieces. He's like flexing his fingers, and the pistons and all that, they're moving in time with his hands. He has a look. His eye's all banged up. So, and I hate it. I hate it so much. And he picks up a scalpel and he pierces his eye. He goes right into the iris.
Yeah.
And
So
it's
gross.
disgusting. And blood starts dripping out into the sink, and he drops his eyeball in the sink. And we get this. There's the iconic red Terminator eye. The eye of this Terminator skull, and it's so fucking good. Oh, I love it.
But that head model,
Yeah.
Yeah, it has not aged well.
the probably one of the only things in this movie that really doesn't stand up to the test of time, if I do say so myself.
But
It's interesting too, because the head in like Terminator 2 is so good.
Yeah.
When he kind of gets cut up in the second one, he looks unreal. Like, which is what? Yeah, like a 7 years difference or whatever it is. Like, yeah, it's amazing the difference.
Yeah, I think was T2 92?
Yeah, something like
91 or 92, yeah.
Ryan and I weren't even born yet.
You missed out.
91, yeah.
But yeah, like, it was strange because they use, again, practical effects and prosthetics because, you can't ask real life Arnold to stick a scalpel in his eye.
Yeah.
It's weird to see a robot Arnie that doesn't look anywhere near as good as Arnie playing a robot. It's odd. It's very jarring.
It's very strange.
So he's done. He chucks on the classic Terminator aviators to cover up his missing eye, and he rearms himself. He picks up like a dozen guns, and he goes out the door. He's armed to the teeth. He's ready for action. And we're back at the police station. Kyle Reese is still screaming, and the psychiatrist is not believing a word of it. And that psychiatrist as well is also the luckiest character in this movie, because he leaves for the night, he goes, and him and Arnold, they pass each other in the doorway. They don't give each other a second look.
Yeah.
And like, holy shit. Like, that's the psychiatrist.
You get this close.
Yeah, he's the worst character. He's a terrible psychiatrist or psychologist or whichever he is.
Yeah, he's the worst bloke.
Yeah, he's like, oh man, I'm going to write a book on this guy. He's a fucking nutbag. I'm going to become so rich. This guy's insane. And they brush each other past in the doorway, and off he goes, never to be seen again. Arnold walks into the foyer of the police station, and it's so bizarre that we get, the most iconic line from the Terminator franchise in this weird little scene. So he walks into the police station foyer, and there's a cop sitting there doing paperwork. Arnie's to look around. He's like, "I'm here to see Sarah Connor, my good sir." And he's like, "Nah, she's can't see her."
Tips his hat.
Can't,
my lady.
Yeah. Can't see her, me old chap. She's busy. Then Arnie, we get the "I'll be back," and it's such a weird place not a weird place to have the line. It's weird that that's the line that's stuck throughout the whole franchise.
Yeah. Every single one, pretty much.
And the "Hasta la vista," the "I'll be back," and the "Hasta la vista." The two like iconic lines, and they're like such throwaway lines. Like when you think about it.
Yeah,
like,
they're nothing that special.
They didn't have a big like crescendo of like "I'll be back." It was just like, no. Yeah. He's like, "I'll be back."
Yeah.
Leaves.
So, can I drop a little bit of a fact on you
guys
about this line? So apparently, James Cameron and Arnold had a bit of a disagreement over the line "I'll be back," because Arnold thought it should be "I will be back," as it sounded more machine-like, and he thought "I'll" was actually too feminine.
What? That doesn't make sense. It's just
weird.
Words. Maybe I don't know if it's like a bilingual thing, because
I don't know.
Arnold's Austrian, and a lot of languages have female and male.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's actually funny you say that too, because I found one article. I couldn't find many articles on it, but apparently another source said that Arnold had trouble saying the line as "I'll be back."
Oh.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to break it up and say "I will be back" instead of "I'll be back," which I thought was really interesting.
Arnold has a very thick Austrian accent.
Yeah, he's still got that now.
And the
but
English
then-
language is just a fucker of a language to speak. Like, I still have trouble, and I've been speaking it for God knows how long.
No, but then apparently James Cameron ended the discussion about the line saying, "I don't tell you how to act, so don't tell me how to write."
Really?
Apparently.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then Arnold-
I found
Arnold
two
calls him and
articles
goes,
with that
"So?"
line. And I was like, damn.
Arnold calls him and is like, so, let's talk about Avatar.
Did you forget how to write for Avatar? Or-
I thought you were good at writing.
Glorious.
But I did think that was a pretty interesting fact.
Yeah.
That
Especially
is
because
cool.
that is probably the most famous line from the series.
Yeah.
Like Hasta La
Yeah.
Vista, he says in Terminator 2 and 3.
Yeah.
But this, I think,
Yeah.
is said through
Well,
at least the first 3.
It's so hard for, like, generally you'll be like, yeah, I'll be back. And there's always going to be someone that goes, I'll be back. And everyone has a big laugh. It's hard to say without
Yeah.
someone referencing the movie.
Well, like we talked about Scream, and they had a big, they had a bit of a tiff over whether or not to have that iconic mask. It's so funny to hear about people disagreeing about things that end up being like the cornerstone
Yeah.
of the franchise.
Yeah.
It's so funny, like, and then there's that one person that's like, no, you gotta listen to me, it's gonna be good.
And God bless that one person that sticks to their guns in these instances.
Yeah.
So Arnie goes, I'll be back. Hooroo! And he walks out the door.
He
And
picks
the
his
cop's
fedora
like-
up.
Yeah. He
Yep.
doffs his cap to the policeman and shimmies out. And
And the policeman says, "Get out of my Chop Chop Academy."
so the
Hooroo.
cop's just there doing the paperwork for a couple of seconds, and you're like, gosh dang it, boys, where's Arnold gone? And then he drives a car into the foyer
Yeah.
and smashes the police guy behind the desk.
It's amazing.
And what we get is this incredible police massacre. Arnold's walking around with a shotgun in one hand and a machine gun in the other, and he's just shooting cops left and right.
Yep.
So we've got Sarah Connor. The cops have taken her away to, have a bit of sleep in one room. Kyle Reese is locked down in the interrogation room, and Arnold's just killing everyone, cop after cop. And the cops are getting a few shots in, like Arnold's flinching sort of a few times when bullets connect with him, but it doesn't affect him at all. He's just cutting through them like butter.
Just mowing them down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just eating bullets and spitting them back out.
Absolutely. And the cops
So
just have to
good.
eat a big bowl of crow because obviously Kyle Reese was right. This is,
Yep.
another instance where we see just how fucked Kyle Reese and Sarah Connor are if they don't succeed, because you've got a police station full of cops, an arsenal on their own, and they can't bring down the Terminator.
And they even state there's 30 cops in there. Like, I think he says it to Kyle Reese. He's like, there's 30 cops in there. He won't get in. And then you literally see Arnold kill every single cop.
Well, I think
Yeah.
as well, what I hadn't mentioned, just to backtrack a little bit, when Kyle first explains what's happening to Sarah, she goes, "Can you stop it?" And Kyle Reese says, "I don't know. With these weapons, I don't know, because it's 40 years in the past. He's used to fighting with advanced technology and the weapons that the Terminators have as well. So he really has no idea if he can do this. And this is why the cops' bullets aren't doing shit to old Termy over here." Old Termy. He sounds like a
Oh no!
he sounds like a very
what a
Well,
cutie.
sounds like a very
Termy.
sick robot.
Oh no!
It's got one
God.
broken leg and it's kind of dragging it behind itself.
This is going on, and Kyle, he escapes interrogation with a bit of fisticuffs with the cops, and he tracks down Sarah. They manage to escape.
That scene in the police station where she's hiding under the desk and like she doesn't know whether it was Kyle
Yeah,
or the
Kyle's
Terminator
shooting
coming
everyone.
through the
Yeah.
door. Like she's hiding under the desk and the door opens, and even I was like, oh, like, because I hadn't watched this one in a while. I was like, oh,
Who is it? Which one?
Because Kyle Reese punches through the window and opens the door from the other side. And you don't expect that from Kyle Reese because he's just a man. The Terminator's been punching and kicking his way through everything. And there's Kyle Reese. He's managed
Yeah.
to track it down.
Can someone help me? It's killing my brain. Who is one of the policemen? Is he from Alien? One of the androids from Alien?
I thought so as well. I think
Yeah.
he's from Aliens because I was looking at it and I forgot to look it up. So don't quote me on that.
Oh. Because it would make sense if it was if it's aliens, because that's
Is it
James Cameron too,
it's
right?
Bishop in Aliens,
Mm-hmm.
and is he in Terminator?
Yes, it must.
It is. It
He
is.
gets ripped in half.
Ryan, you are indeed. That's Bishop
thank-
from Aliens. Man,
Yes.
James Cameron loves reusing
he's-
people.
He
He's
loves
still-
using the same guys.
He's still kicking. He's 81 years old. Fucking good on him.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, good on him. Sorry for my derail. I was just very interested.
No, I thought the
Look of
same
it.
thing, and I didn't get around to looking it up. But like James Cameron, so he's used Sam Worthington in Salvations and his terrible avatars. He uses Michael Biehn in this and in Aliens. Arnie a couple of times, and Hamilton a couple of times, and he used him again in True Lies. Like, I you know what? Props to him for using the people that work like for multiple films. I like that. A little bit.
And Bill Paxton, of course.
Bill Paxton, of course. A little bit Tarantino-esque. But anyway, that's blowing my mind. I knew that I recognised him from somewhere, but I just...
Yeah, I just couldn't pick. I just couldn't get
Yeah.
it. I was like, I know him.
Yeah. That's crazy. Anyway, so in all the chaos, Kyle and Sarah, they escape and they end up hiding out in this little park tunnel. And we see that Kyle Reese has copped a stray bullet. And Sarah, this is where she starts to kind of come into her own. So she stitches up Kyle Reese. She's like, tell me about my son. Tell me about John Connor. He's like, look, you know, the guy's a kind of an enigma, or he started the resistance. We don't know anything about his father. His father died before the war.
Ooh.
Your son personally sent me back to protect you, to ready you for the war, to, you know, not to protect you, but make you the badass we later see in Terminator 2. And we get another little flashback. Kyle's sort of walking around the human resistance, and he's pulled out a photo. He's got a photo of Sarah Connor that John had given him in the future, so that's how he knew who Sarah Connor was in the present day. And we find out that Kyle Reese, he's got a bit of a schoolboy crush on Sarah Connor. He's been...
He's got love heart eyes.
He's got love heart eyes. He's spent his whole, you know, however long in the future learning everything he can about Sarah so he can get her ready for the war. But he's gone and fallen in love. But also, just a thing we've gleaned over as well. I can't remember what part, but Kyle mentions that they use dogs to detect the Terminators disguised as humans. We see this dog start barking at this guy, and it ends up being, I assume, the first human-esque Terminator that's infiltrated the humans' resistance base, and it just massacres everyone and whatnot. But it's a nice little kind of throwaway line. Oh, we use dogs, because they never really dwell on it too much, but it's sprinkled through the film.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got a little flashback, and we see how Kyle's come to know Sarah, and he's in love with her. And anyway, back in the present, they end up at a little motel room. And there's a dog at the reception of the motel, and they walk in, and somewhere along the line they basically have a little bit of sexy times themselves. Sarah realizes that,
Because, you know, when you're running for your life, there's no better time to have fun.
no, you're never hornier than when you're being chased by a murderous robot. That's what I've come to learn. And
seeing 30 cops massacred before your eyes.
Yeah.
Nothing makes me hard like bloodlust. And so they have sex, and then obviously we find out that Kyle Reese is John Connor's father in the future. So Kyle Reese is like, I'm gonna duck out for supplies. I'll be back, you know, which is bizarre because he's made it so clear that he can't leave her side, but he's come and he's like, all right, see ya.
Now I can think clearly now.
I gotta go to the grocery store.
Yeah. And so he goes out for supplies, and Sarah, it's bizarre. Sarah's on the phone to her mum, of all people. And the mum's talking to her through the line, and Sarah's like, we're staying at this motel. She gives them the address, and we see that Arnold's actually tracked down her mum and killed her. And he's impersonating the mum's voice, which we never knew he could do in this one. We see it a few times in Terminator 2. But you're like, oh, wow, what can't this guy do? And Kyle comes back. They've got a bunch of bombs. They make a whole bunch of homemade pipe bombs.
Yeah, he teaches her. It's very cute. Teaches her how to make some bombs.
She's just coming into her own in this. She's getting ever closer to being that badass we come to love.
The quote's really funny too.
What's the quote?
when he gets back from the shop, she's like, "Ooh, what do we got? Mothballs, corn syrup, ammonia. Ooh, what are we having?" And he's like, "Plastique." And she's like, "That sounds good. What is it?" And it's like, "It's nitroglycerin based. It's more stable."
Arnie, he shows up, and the dog, because we get a few glimpses now and then of how Arnie views the world, and it's this infrared kind of vision, and we see this dog barking at Arnie because you know that dogs can detect the Terminators. Kyle Reese and Sarah Connor, they hear the dog barking, and there's a bit of a shootout going on there.
And luckily, right place, right time, they run out to the front of the motel, not the back, and someone's starting their car.
Yeah.
So they're like, "Hey, get out of there, it's my car now."
So much car theft in this movie.
There is.
So Arnie's come down, and there's a whole big shootout, and Arnie's jumped on his little motorcycle, and is chasing them along there, and they're lobbing bombs out the old car, chucking them willy-nilly. Bombs are exploding left and right. And he cops himself a little bullet.
Just a little kiss of a bullet. Just
Another
casually.
cheeky kiss of a little bullet. Sarah Connor, she's going to take over, and
I'm sorry, I'm just thinking of a bullet, and imagine if you shot a gun, it went, mwah! Sorry. I'm just really enjoying seeing Ryan, like, nearly pee his pants.
I'm sorry, Dane. Keep going.
he's dying there in the front seat. And
Oh, he's dying.
he's been shot twice.
Third time's the charm, am I right?
Sarah Connor grabs a wheel and she sideswipes Arnie off his little tricycle, and he goes skidding across the road, and then Sarah Connor crashes the truck, and I kind of burst out laughing every time it happens, but Arnie gets back up and he looks directly at the camera, and a big fucking semi-trailer comes and cleans him up, and he gets all churned up in the wheels and everything, and the semi-trailer stops, they get out, and you're like, oh, that's good. Arnie's not coming back from that boy, but he is. But he's all fucked up, and he's got skin ripped off his face. We're seeing bits of the exoskeleton now. He comes along and he steals himself another car. They start having himself another little running race. They're trying to get away from this truck because Sarah's car, that's totaled, and Arnie's driving the semi-trailer after him.
Yeah.
Kyle Reese chucks a little pipe bomb in the tailpipe of the semi-trailer. And Sarah's running for her life. Kyle Reese is hiding. Old Arnie, he's driving his truck, and there's a great big fucking massive explosion.
It just really
Huge.
puts a, like, emphasis on he will not stop for anything.
It's great.
Even getting mowed down by a fucking semi-trailer, he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And then getting blown up, and then still keeps going.
Yeah, well, the flame effects is like it coats the whole street in fire, and he comes out of his truck and he's sort of stumbling. He just falls into this pile of flames. You're like, this is looking promising, isn't it? And
Is he dead?
Sarah Connor and Kyle Reese, they have themselves a little tender moment because they see Arnie's lying there dead in the flames. But then, boys, here he comes, and he stands up, and now he's full mecha Arnie. All his skin's been melted off, and we get the first glimpse of the fucking iconic exoskeleton, the T-800 himself, and he's not in good shape. So it's looking good for everyone because he's actually showing signs of injury. The robot's sort of limping around, even though he's just not stopping, and they run themselves into this old abandoned warehouse. And Kyle Reese, he's struggling. He's on death's door, and the T-800, he corners them, and Kyle Reese is like, "Get out of here, Sarah."
I want to say, I love the robot bitch slap in this scene.
Yeah.
He just fucking backhands him.
Yeah.
That would have... I'm surprised his skull didn't get caved in by that.
Oh, yeah.
He put a
just
guy
took
through
his
a
head
wall.
clean off. Just boom.
Yeah, well, Kyle Reese, he tries to stand up to Arnie with no guns, so it's ridiculous. But, yeah, he gets a big old slap to the face and jams one last pipe bomb in Arnie, fucking blows him to smithereens. Yeah. Sarah, now she's got this great big bit of shrapnel sticking out of her leg, and she's like, oh no.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Nasty.
This isn't good. And she's bleeding pretty profusely, and she crawls over to Kyle Reese, and our hero, he's finally dead. That was his last little sacrifice, and oh my goodness, Michael Biehn was just phenomenal in this movie.
And it's a good
So
thing he's
good.
got some bloody good swimmers.
Yeah.
Because he was just one and
Yeah.
done.
What do you guys think of the stop motion on the T800?
Loved it.
Still better than the robots in RoboCop.
Oh.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you mean the big ones with the guns?
The big ones with the guns. Those were shit.
Yeah, they look really
when
bad.
when they fell down the stairs, this was still better than that.
Well,
Yeah.
Arnie, so the T100 that's walking around limping, it's from the waist up, all practical effects. Yeah, so this is a bit of early trivia. I've come out early with the trivia. So from the waist up, it's all Arnie sort of moving around, and it took 5 guys to move the T800 in like a limping sort of manner to make it look realistic.
That's cool.
Yeah, so there's actually people carrying metal Arnie around. Kyle Reese is dead. Sarah's in a bit of strife, but then pops the mecha Arnie, and he's got no legs now.
Yeah.
Strangely enough, the slowest but most thrilling chase of them all, Sarah Connor, she's trying to crawl away. She can't run because she's got shrapnel in legs from Kyle Reese's bomb. Terminator's got no legs. He's crawling after her. Sarah Connor traps the T-800 in this, what do you call them? The hydraulic presses.
Hydraulic press.
And she goes...
Yeah.
Yeah.
She looks at the camera and she winks and she's like, "You're terminated, buddy." And she presses it and it comes down and it squashes him completely. The light goes out of the T-800's eyes. Squished. Pancaked. Sarah Connor's, she's safe. The ambulance is there. And it's bizarre. Well, spoilies for if we ever talk about Terminator 2, and for those who haven't seen Terminator 2, at the start of Terminator 2, she's in an insane asylum. But there's all this evidence that he is a squashed guy, here's his arm, here's his technology that doesn't exist yet. Yet they've thrown her in an insane asylum.
Yeah. And also, I want to say, we talked about the character development from movie 1 to movie 2 of Sarah Connor, but also as the Terminator. The Terminator's a robot, but there's still that character development, and spoiler alert, when his little hand goes down into the molten shit and he melts, you feel sad.
Yeah, it's so
Where
good.
here, at the end of this movie, you're like, fucking she got him,
Yeah, they
hell
finally
yeah,
did
Sarah
it.
Connor.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and then flip side, a movie later, everyone gets sad when his little thumbs up goes down.
It was, such an odd choice to, again, we're going to get into the spoilers of T2, but anyway, Sarah Connor has killed the Terminator. We jump forward a little bit in the future. She's driving in the middle of nowhere. I think she's in Mexico or something, and she's, pretty heavily pregnant. She's looking badass. She's got a great big German Shepherd in the car next to her. She's talking into a little tape recorder, leaving voice memos for her unborn son. And she pulls into the gas station. This little kid runs up and he's like, "Oh, you're a tasty dish. Do you want a photo?" And she's like, "What did he say?" Because she's speaking in Spanish, and he's like, this guy comes over and he's like, "Give this kid some money for your photo." And she pays him for the kid takes a photo of her on a little Polaroid, and that's the photo that ends up being in Kyle Reese's possession in the future. She drives off into the sunset to prepare herself for the Great War, and that's Terminator.
So
good.
Boom.
So good.
So good.
Such a great
I
movie.
fucking loved it. From start to finish, it's just incredible.
Yep.
It was great.
Yep. I second
Great
that.
movie.
Great time. I can't believe it's been that long since I've watched it though.
Yeah.
Like I did not remember much of that at all, and I was like, I have been missing out on this movie for too long.
See, I'm the opposite. I've probably seen Terminator 1 100 times more than I've seen Terminator 2.
Oh really? Oh.
It's
Yeah.
probably one of the better, we always poo-poo the sequels, but this is probably one. Terminator 2, as a follow-up to Terminator 1, an already banger of a movie, following it up with Terminator 2, it could have gone so wrong, and the fact that it carried
it exceeds
over
it.
into, exceeds or matches up to, at the very least, the legacy of the Terminator.
And then
100 chef kisses.
So
then
good.
we're left with 4 steaming piles of dog shit Terminator movies.
Yeah.
How many are there now?
Or,
The first
5 or 6?
5 or 6, 4
Yeah,
or 5,
I'm
5
not
or 6.
sure.
Yeah.
did you guys ever
Yeah.
watch the Sarah Connor Chronicles?
No.
The TV
No.
show. It is so
Yeah.
good. Hands down.
Really?
Everyone should check it out. If you like Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles is incredible.
I've always been
I've
interested.
seen all seasons of it. I think there's 3 or 4 seasons. And yeah, it was fantastic. Really, really good show.
That's great. I want to really force myself through the awfulness that we end up with. Like, you don't need to be a genius to see that the most recent Terminators are garbage compared to what we were blessed with 1984 and 91, 92, whatever. My friends, if you liked this, what do you reckon you could recommend it to? What do you compare it to?
I have a few. So,
What do you got, CC?
if you like this, you'd probably like Predator because it's Arnie being a fucking badass. You also, you got the classic Arnie movies like Total Recall and, Alien, which came out before this, but, it's unstoppable force against somebody, a helpless woman. Although Ripley is a badass.
Yeah, she's a badass from the word
or
go.
if you want to move away from sci-fi action and just go purely horror, I thought It Follows is more of an abstract version of this where you've got something coming after you relentlessly.
Yeah,
It's not
good one.
gonna stop.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think either you or Ryan has referenced It Follows in a previous episode.
Well, mine are both actually a little bit different. I went a little bit weird, a little bit more modern. I went maybe Ex Machina
Yeah.
from 2014,
yeah.
which is
Not actiony, but has that AI sentient.
yeah.
I agree.
It's a much smaller scale than any of the Terminator movies, but it still plays on that like a sentient being, and it is a really good movie.
Yeah.
Like it's damn
Yes.
good.
So
Oscar
good.
Isaac and
So
Jamal
good.
Gleason.
Oh,
Yeah.
and Alicia Vikander as well.
So good.
And then I also went. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Upgrade from 2018.
I
Haven't seen
wanted
that.
to.
Which I have considered doing as part of like the podcast because it is amazing. It is so much fun. So pretty much this guy, he pretty much gets this chip in the back of his head, and then he learns how to fight with an AI. So the AI takes over his body, and he's just like a ninja when he fights, and it's so
That's
cool.
crazy.
It's such a really good movie. It's directed by Lee Winnell, who's the Aussie guy who did the Saw movie.
Nice. Yeah.
With James Wan. Really good movie. If you like an action sci-fi movie, yeah, I thought Upgrade would be a good option for you too. But yeah, Ex
Nice.
Machina or Upgrade, 2 solid picks.
Well, I had one I already had mentioned, the original Westworld movie. It doesn't really hold up too well in today's standards, I think. Basically, even an earlier Terminator where this one sentient robot starts targeting people and it's just chasing after this one guy throughout the entire movie and uses like heat vision and infrared vision to try and track down this guy in this Westworld. So a lot of like Terminator and Predator, I think, were pretty heavily referenced from it. It's good.
Yeah.
It's just one of those movies I think you need to watch. But also the original
I think so.
John Carpenter Halloween.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Good.
That's
good
funny.
choice.
It's funny that you mentioned that, Dane. I actually have a little bit of a fact that ties into that.
Oh,
If you guys want to hear?
Ryan, if
Yeah.
this is trivia time, I'm all for it.
I think it is, mate. Buckle in. Okay. So, do you guys know the story of like how James Cameron came up with the idea for the Terminator?
It was from like a nightmare, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So in Rome, during the release of his movie Piranha 2: The Spawning, sounds like a great movie, James Cameron became sick and had a really weird nightmare dream about a metallic torso holding kitchen knives and dragging itself along the floor away from an
Whoa.
explosion.
Right.
Which kind of happens in this movie, I suppose, when the Arnie
He drags
walks
himself along.
Yeah.
walks through an explosion and then later on drags himself around. But yeah, Cameron used the dream to write a slasher style of film, taking inspiration from John Carpenter's film Halloween, with its low budget and seemingly impossible to kill.
Amazing.
So-
All right.
Boom, tie it all together.
Makes sense.
I have quite a few facts. Do you want me to go first, or do you guys want to?
I've only got one. If you want me to go first,
Okay, you can go.
I'm lacking in the trivia section today,
That's
but
okay.
I thought this was absolutely hilarious. The studio wanted O.J. Simpson to play the Terminator, and that is so ironic.
Yep. No, and it gets even worse. Apparently, Cameron couldn't see him as a killer, and that was the reason he wasn't
Oh my
interested.
god!
Which
Well,
is
if the glove don't fit, you must acquit, right?
That has blown my mind.
But they originally wanted Arnie to play Kyle Reese as the fighter from Who Comes Back in Time, and then O.J. Simpson to play the Terminator.
why do I want to see that movie though?
It took him. So Cameron initially didn't like either choice, and it took a meeting with Schwarzenegger with the intention of picking a fight with him, and then storming back into the studio demanding a new actor, and then instead to clicked over the vision of that Arnie had, because Arnie wasn't just interested in like showing up and playing it. He actually wanted to make a really iconic character, and that caused Cameron to run back to the studio and be like, yeah, you know what, he should be the Terminator. That was how it went. But yeah,
Roses and sunshine.
I just was like, that is so ironic. O.J. Simpson, a killing machine.
So strange.
With that said, like, James Cameron actually, because when he was convinced that he wanted Arnold to play the Terminator, apparently James Cameron's a pretty good painter. Like, I saw the actual thing that he did, where he painted that kind of iconic Arnie face where half his skin is still there and the other half is exoskeleton. And he sent that painting to Arnie. And Arnie's like, yeah, I want to be the badass Terminator boy.
Well, I don't know if... I'm pretty sure this is true, though. But, like, in Titanic, like, when Kate Winslet is, like, on the couch and she's painted. He drew her.
Yeah.
He drew that.
Oh, old Cameron.
Like, that's his drawing of her.
Imagine,
The
would
nudie
you
pic.
be impressed if you were Kate Winslet? Would you be impressed or kind of disgusted at that? Because like her tits out in that.
Yeah. Other than that, I also had his original idea for the first movie was to have a liquid metal man chasing them.
Comes into play later.
Yeah, but he didn't think the technology at the time would be able to show his vision, so he shelved it.
Nah.
And then obviously in T2, he was like, yeah, this is the time, let's do it.
Yeah, and it paid off immensely him leading that one.
Arnold, to prepare for the role, he worked with guns every day for a month. So he wanted to be as machine-like as possible when handling the weapons. So he would strip and reassemble them and reload them blindfolded. So it was almost like an automatic system to him.
You're right.
And he also trained to be ambidextrous as well. Obviously, a robot could use both hands to do anything. Yeah, which is pretty awesome. So the movie's production was actually delayed by 9 months, as Arnold was actually committed to doing Conan the Destroyer, the sequel to Conan the Barbarian. But since James Cameron had a little bit of downtime, some of the producers at Fox thought he should take a crack at writing an assignment because they liked his script for The Terminator. So he took a crack and wrote Aliens. And then also, at the same time, they also wanted him to take a stab at writing a different movie, which is a Rambo First Blood Part 2. And so he did these two writings, did these two screenplays while also working on the Terminator script to finish it and fine-tune it, and had different desks set up in his house. So each desk represented a different movie, so he could jump between them and be in the zone.
Man, what happened to James Cameron? He had such promise.
Where has he gone? Yeah,
he watched
goddamn.
Pocahontas, then he watched The Smurfs, and then he got sick again and had another fever dream, and then he was like, Avatar, aliens docking things, let's do it.
One more fact, if that's okay.
No, of course.
I thought this was really cool too. So apparently Cameron and the crew did a lot of guerrilla filmmaking while they were filming the movie, which involved the cast and crew shooting a lot of the time without permits. So the entire cast and crew would quickly arrive at a location, shoot the scene, and then hopefully leave before the cops arrived. It happened in some instances. The final shot of the movie, the police were called and they were actually talked to by the police. But yeah, I thought that was really cool. And then apparently there was
cool.
one scene that Cameron made Arnold meet him at 3 a.m. in full Terminator costume and, shoot a single scene in a location they weren't meant to be filming as well, which is pretty
That's
amazing.
so funny.
Wow.
Because,
Yeah.
like, we've done that before, but obviously
I
not to that
know.
scale. But that's, like,
know.
what film students do. Like, we
Yeah.
were on roads in the middle of the night, like, production value. Yeah, no, we totally shot that on a driveway.
Yeah,
Uni-
Kieran's got the
uni
longest
lecturers.
driveway in the world.
I just-
Yeah, don't worry.
I have a really long driveway.
But did you guys have any reviews?
I sure do.
Yeah. What do you got, CC?
So I've got a 1 star and a 5 star, as usual. Just for the ha-has. So my 5 star is, forget that the premise is silly and the acting is second rate. But because director James Cameron has the action formula down pat, 5 stars.
What?
Ooh, controversial.
The acting is
Yeah.
silly. What dumb dog wrote that? Some
I don't
idiot.
know. And then another one. I am the Terminator. What a dumb type of movie this is. Sure, some of the action scenes were sweet, but overall the movie totally, completely sucked. Thumbs down for James Cameron, 1 star.
Oh, what a donkey.
Jesus. What do you got, Dana?
The Terminator might just be James Cameron's masterpiece. A force du jour of filmmaking, incredible action set pieces, fantastic acting, and a movie that will leave a lasting impression on you. If you think this movie is bad or give it 1 star, you are stupid. That's a review from Dane D. 5 stars.
Incredible.
Yeah.
5 out of 5, baby.
Yeah. That's Terminator.
What if... That's
Well,
okay.
I've actually got a little surprise for you guys. We've actually had somebody write in.
Stop it.
Oh.
Stop it. We got a little fun pal
Is
who's
this
written
the
in.
is this the
his
hate
name-
mail I've been sending you for the better part of 6-7 years?
I gave you my mother's address,
Yeah.
so
Well,
hope you never meet her.
sucked into her.
We got a little thing from our old pal. His name is Tim. He wrote it on Spotify. So, first of all, you have hooked me. Love the work and here to stay. I'd love you guys to watch Crawl from 2019. My thoughts are it's not a bad croc flick with some gaping holes and problems. Tim would also like to know if you finished Midnight Mass, Ryan, and what you thought of it, because you never told us your thoughts.
I never did a follow-up. Yes, I did, and it is goddamn fantastic. Good Lord.
Really?
It is so good. Like, I don't think it's for everyone, because it is quite a slow burn, but goddamn, it is good. It is so well made.
What'd you think of the ending?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I have nothing wrong, nothing bad to say about it. I really liked it. I don't know. It could be good to do a little mini episode of something on it in the future would be cool. Like we were going to with Squid Games. If we all watch a TV show in a short amount of time, that would be really cool to do. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's really good. I always forget his name, but he's fantastic. The guy who did Hill House, Bly Manor,
Yeah.
and this, he has got some damn good talent. He is... Because you don't actually know what the hell's going on. I think it's still about episode 3, and then you kind of realize, and then it just, it moves pretty quick from there. It's great.
Nice.
Definitely check it out if you guys haven't watched it yet.
Well, there you go.
Crawl is fantastic as
Yeah.
well. I would say, it's a good fun movie.
I really like Crawl.
Yeah,
So, shall we add it to our lineup for after Christmas?
Yeah.
yeah, it's not a bad idea. Yeah, let's do it in January or something.
Oh, in the new year
Yeah,
we can start
that sounds
taking
great.
requests, my friends.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. Have you guys been watching anything lately that you wanted to bring up?
I watched a dog shit movie called Afflicted. It's a found footage. I've been looking for more found footage movies. It's pretty slim pickings for the good ones. And yeah, it's like these guys, they're making like a travel blog and they're making all these videos for their blog and they're traveling around Europe. One of them is attacked by a vampire in France. It documents him turning into a vampire, and it's an excellent premise, which is why I decided to watch it, but fuck, it was terrible. It's pretty cool for like a little bit, and then it just turns real south real fast. And we should probably watch it one day because I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on it.
I'm
Sounds
I'm
fun.
down to watch another terrible movie with my buddies. It's been a while since we watched anything terrible. Although
Yeah.
I watched something quite dog shit recently as well. I think it came out earlier this year. I can't remember. I don't know if either of you saw Arch Enemy with Joe Manganiello.
Oh, the guy who's married
No.
to
Old
Is
mate
it-
from
is
Modern
that-
Family.
Yeah.
Is he married to Sofia
Yeah,
Vergara?
her husband. It's him and I only watched it because Glenn Howerton from It's Always Sunny is in it, and Glenn Howerton plays a villain in it, and basically Joe is this drunken drug addict who sort of runs around town yelling about how he was a superhero and he come from another planet, and these kids sort of start to believe him, and it's kind of it sets up the interesting premise of like you don't know if he's telling the truth or if he's just a guy who's lost his fucking mind because he has no superpowers in it. And then it gets real dog shit in the second act.
Oh.
Yeah. First
Sounds
part is kind of
interesting.
a bit interesting, and then you're like, oh, okay, all right, well, this sucks. So, yeah, that's the latest thing I
There
watched.
you go. What about you, Ryan? Have you watched anything?
Yeah, I watched. It was a little bit ago. I finally watched Shang-Chi, which
Yeah.
I loved. It was
You loved it?
fantastic. Yeah, like some of the Marvel movies, I agree, the fight scenes aren't great. This one is fantastic. It's so well done. Would recommend.
Nice.
I know you guys aren't huge Marvel fans, but I think Shang-Chi's pretty special. It's good fun. I don't know if you guys like it, like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Like there's a
I
whole
love
fight
Crouching
scene.
Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah, there's a whole fight scene like that. There's a really good fight scene on a bus. There's one like on the side of a skyscraper. There's some really good stuff in it.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Might have to watch it then. Shall I read my outro, boys?
Please do.
I think it's that time.
Well, before you do, who's up next week? What are we watching?
Oh, that's me.
You, right?
Strap in, everybody. We are watching 2009's Avatar. No, just kidding. We are going to get into the Christmas spirit, everybody, because we are watching a little movie called Home Alone.
Hell
So-
yeah.
Home Alone from 1990. That movie came out with good old
Wowee.
Macaulay Culkin. Everyone,
Little
put on your
baby
Christmas
Macaulay
hats.
Culkin.
Yeah.
I don't know if either of you realise, our good friend from uni, Rob, told me this happened, but there's actually this year a reboot from the Home Alone called Home Sweet Home Alone, and it is
No, thank you.
apparently
Yep.
dog shit.
It's a big no from me. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
The only reason I would watch it is it has the chubby friend from Jojo Rabbit as the
Oh
main
yeah,
guy. You know,
That's pretty cool. I love
Jojo's
Jojo
best
Rabbit.
mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jojo's best mate. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cute. He's pretty great.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if I could watch another one.
Archie
A different
Archie Yates is the guy you're thinking of. I was just on the IMDb. I mean, I would love to see him in more, but I don't want to see him in that.
Yes. This is not what we meant when we said let's get you in more movies.
Yeah. All right, Ciarin, do your outro.
Alrighty. Well, thank you everyone for tuning into this week's episode of Ticket Stubs. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, or even leave us a little sneaky review. We want to know what you thought of the movie, so you can send us a message at ticketstubspod@gmail.com or head to ticketstubspodcast.com/contact to tell us what you really think, and we will read it out in future episodes. You can find all the links in our show notes. Thank you guys for watching with me. Good pick, Dane.
Thank you for
Great
watching
pick,
it.
Dane.
with-
Great research.
Thank you, and to you both. Good little amount of trivia, and this is hands down my favourite one to do. I do love myself a bit of Macaulay Culkin, so I'm looking forward to chatting about Home Alone.
Lovely. We'll see you next
All
week
right,
then.
bye, pals.
See you
Hooroo to
guys.
you.
Bye bye.